this is usually the service that has the most room for seats, so it's the one that you have the best chance of getting the seat you want. You guys have figured that out. You're smart. We appreciate you coming. Particularly, I want to thank you for coming to this service because that leaves more room in the other two, and you guys can basically sit wherever you want. So that's pretty awesome. We are so grateful. We on the church staff are so grateful for just your encouragement, your prayers. You've let us know you've been praying for us in these difficult days, and it's such a privilege to be a part of this body of believers, and thank you for that. And I know that any given week, we may make a call that said, just looking ahead, we want your prayers, especially this week, because our big project right now is we're looking at the fall, and we believe God is calling us in some form to reinstate some kind of small groups, Sunday school, things like that, because we've heard from many of you, we know for our own souls, that Bible study groups and accountability groups, that kind of thing, we need that. And we've been looking at the kids ministry, and we realize that there's a large group of kids that we cannot figure out how to reach without physically bringing them into the building, possibly on our buses. That's not a decision we've made, but we are looking at the fall, and this week that's our big project. So would you maybe write down a reminder for yourself, something, and would you spend maybe a few extra minutes just praying for us as we try to plan all the details of this? We are probably going to get something wrong in our planning. That's a given. It's okay. If we get it wrong, we'll try to figure it out. But as we try to figure this out, and as we look at all the logistics of it and everything, would you be praying for us? Because this week is kind of the week that we're trying to get most of the big pieces in place. And then our goal is to start maybe middle of September on Wednesday night life groups, Sunday school classes possibly, things like that. It may look different. We may still have like a group or two that meets online, something like that, some in the building, being able to spread out maybe something. Anyway, you understand there's a lot of moving pieces there, and we really appreciate your prayers on that. So thank you so much for your continued giving as well. You guys have been so faithful and so wonderful about that. We appreciate it. Jeremy's going to sing, and as he does, this is our giving time. If you want to give on your way out in the boxes in the foyer, that's fine. You can give at eldochurch.com, text to give, etc. And we appreciate that. Thanks for being here.
I know you all remember the story in the Old Testament where the people of Judah were being attacked from all sides, and Jehoshaphat the king sent out the singers ahead of the army to sing. They were the battle technique that they used for that battle. The singers went out. As soon as they started singing, the victory was won. That's amazing when you think about the fact that our singing, our praise and worship to Jesus.
When the darkness falls, it won't prevail, because the God I serve knows only how to triumph. My God will never fail. No, my God will never fail. And I'm gonna see a victory. I'm gonna see a victory. For the battle belongs to you, Lord. I'm gonna see a victory. I'm gonna see a victory. For the battle belongs to you, Lord. I'm gonna see a victory. I'm gonna see a victory. For the battle belongs to you. Take what the enemy meant for evil, and you turn it for good. You turn it for good. You take what the enemy meant for evil, and you turn it for good. You turn it for good. You take what the enemy meant for evil, and you turn it for good. You turn it for good. I'm gonna see a victory. I'm gonna see a victory. For the battle belongs to you, Lord. And I'm gonna see a victory. I'm gonna see a victory. For the battle belongs to you, Lord.
Thank you, Jeremy. What a great message and song. Let me just get it out in the open. I went to Sturgis. Those of you that are not bikers, Sturgis is the annual motorcycle rally in Sturgis, South Dakota. And we decided to go on vacation to South Dakota thinking that nobody's there. You know, it's out in the middle of nowhere. And finally, after about the second day, I seeing thousands of bikers, I said, honey, would you Google it, find out when the Sturgis rally is, because we were in Spearfish right by Sturgis. And would you believe that we chose when thousands and thousands of bikers, normally they have 500,000 bikers come to Sturgis, and this year because of COVID, they only had 250,000. But bikers, and I'll admit, I was out of place. And I thought, you know what, I have to fit in with these guys a little bit better. And so anybody like this? Anybody like the look there? All right. I don't know if you can concentrate or not, but anyway, I'll take this off here and leave them on, I heard. Oh, my. You never know what's going to happen when your pastor leaves. But John chapter 11, we are going to try to get serious here. John chapter 11 will provide, you've probably even raised the question, why would a loving God allow bad to exist or bad to happen in the world? You've heard the question. But the interesting thing about that question is this. When we talk about the bad things, isn't it true we always focus on the bad out there? The bad in the world. You know, the bad in others. We never think about the bad in here, in our heart. You know, our own bad attitudes, the bad thoughts, the bad things we do, or bad things we wish we could do. And so here's basically what we want. We want God to get rid of the bad in the rest of the world, eliminate it, but yet we want Him to show us grace and overlook the bad in us. And just in case you don't realize how bad you are, or I am, let me remind us through a couple of questions. Have you, and you can raise your hand if you want, or polish your halo, whatever you want to do during this time, but have you ever done anything bad? And you know, that's a duck question. We all would have to raise our hands. But here's what a lot of us say. We say, well, I did that bad stuff when I was young and foolish and sowing my wild oats. I was crazy. I'm good now. So for you, let me ask a follow-up question that was really convicting for me. After you supposedly got on the straight and narrow way, you quit doing bad things, be honest, have you ever wanted to do something really, really bad? And so you ended up not doing it, but it was in your heart. You really wanted to do it. And I know the old timers used to testify, and some of you would remember this. They used to testify on a Wednesday night, I'm saved and sanctified and satisfied. And as a young teenager, I'll admit I wasn't very sanctified. So when I heard these people start their wind-up, are glorified. I don't care which theological camp you land in. The truth is that your carnal nature will at times poke up its ugly head. And yes, for those of us who believe in sanctification and holiness of heart, I'm one of them. We do believe that God's Spirit does cleanse us and help us live a holy life. But until we start kicking up gold dust on the streets of the New Jerusalem, Christ. But anyway, it's so intriguing to me that when people begin to wrestle with, well, why does God allow bad in the world? We never point to the bad within us. And here's the bottom line. If we would realize just how bad our heart really is, then hang with me. But I think we would suddenly be in the world of how much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? In other words, what I'm saying is the realization of how bad we are neutralizes our argument of why doesn't God just eliminate the bad in the world, because we would realize, oh yeah, I'm part of the bad. And we certainly don't want God to eliminate us. Well, it may not seem this way, but we do have a destination in mind. And to get there, we're going back to the book of John that we've been in for several weeks, except for last week. Thank you, Pastor Jim. So the sisters sent word to Jesus, Lord, the one you love is sick.